Maryland, 76-68. The Terrapins have now won 6 of their last 7 games. The Badgers have lost 2 of their last 3. Greg Gard asked, why does it seem as teams always seem to go into a slump this time of the year?
I don't worry about other years, Mike. On to the next game. We got to get ready for Northwestern, making sure we keep getting better.
They play the Wildcats Saturday afternoon at 1 in Evanston. The Badgers women's team with an 82-75 upset win at home over Michigan. Head coach Marissa Mosley responding to allegations from former player Tess Towers that she was wrongfully accused of fighting during a practice, left behind on a team trip, and mistreated by the coaching staff.
I have fully participated in the university's procedures in regard to this matter. I feel like at this time, I think that's all that really needs to be said.
That's the Badger women's head coach Marissa Mosley. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the upper 20s, and more sun but not as warm tomorrow, high upper 30s. Breezy and cooler Saturday with some snow showers. A mixture of sunshine and clouds into Sunday, highs mid-40s. Right now it's 48.
Hey, it's Amanda with your new Wisco 411, and who's ready to jump into an icy cold lake? Come on, it sounds like fun, right? A polar plunge is a Wisconsin rite of passage, and one's coming up sooner than you think. February 22nd at Prokopsky Boat Launch in De Pere. You can join a bunch of other brave and exciting souls who are ready to take the plunge, supporting more than 1,400 athletes of Special Olympics Wisconsin. Go ahead and register now. Go to WGBW.FM, click events to find out how.
There was a time when barbecue was perfect. A strong, reliable flavor that could be counted on. But then big manufacturers decided that barbecue needed to be zesty or spicy or sweeter or whatever. If you miss the good old days of great tasting barbecue, we'd like to introduce you to Grandpa's Barbecue. Made in small batches from Grandpa's original recipe. Buy yours online today at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, John Dietrich joins us, Journal Sentinel investigative reporter, with his latest piece on gun violence in Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who's had a paper route for 25 years but never collected, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Nightlight, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with me. It is Thursday night. What do we call Thursday night around here, Conrad?
The Christmas Eve of weekdays.
The Christmas Eve of weekdays, ladies and gentlemen. This is the night. Big anticipation. There are no presents in the morning, but it will be Friday, and it will be gorgeous. It was a gorgeous day today. Hope you had a great day, whatever you did, whether you worked or played hooky or did whatever. I hope it was a phenomenal day, and I hope we make it even better. And it's great to have you with us here, whether you were joining us on the app or the old school radio or the stream. Did you know people can stream this show, Conrad? People can watch the radio.
Yes.
That fascinates me. Tell them how they can do it.
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's WGBW, WISS, and Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. On YouTube, it's Civic Media or WGBW, and on Twitter, it is Civic Media or WGBW.
Lots of stuff going on tonight, and I'm hoping to get a lot of participation from you guys. We got some great texts last night. We got a great question tonight. Really fun guest tonight. My favorite holiday. I shouldn't say my favorite holiday. It's tough. If you're a holiday in February, you're kind of getting the shaft. You're kind of getting the short end of the stick. Nobody likes February. Even in warm weather states, February kind of sucks. So Groundhog Day happens to fall in February. And that's about the best thing about February, because Groundhog Day, the movie, is one of my all-time favorite movies. And there are very few times throughout the year I get to talk about it. But tonight is one of them. We're going to talk a little bit about that film. One of my all-time favorites. I feel like it has a little bit of everything. It's got great comedy that is situational, character-driven, Really solid acting, a wonderful script and story. It's shot in beautiful Woodstock, Illinois. Have you ever been to Woodstock, Conrad?
Can't say I have.
Listen, there's a Young Christian Singles bus tour. I think you should get in on that. You still here?
I
You
just
took a powder. Okay.
I just don't.
Um,
I don't think I'll go to that.
what do you got? You got something against singles or Christians or just people who like Groundhog Day?
I don't know.
Conrad does not have a mean bone in his body, folks.
The bus part doesn't entertain.
Yeah, that's the mean bone is the bus part. Nobody wants to ride a bus to Woodstock. But they made Woodstock look beautiful in Groundhog Day. It looks like a folksy, small, charming town. You've got Bill Murray in the lead role, who is so great in that role as just the kind of egotistical weatherman who thinks he's better than he is and thinks he's better than everybody else. Those are funny characters, and he crushes it. You got Andy McDowell, who plays his producer, Rita, who's lovely and smart and sweet and hardworking and doesn't really like him at all. And he uses her as a barometer of where he's at as a human being. And then you've got the hilarious Chris Elliott, who's the camera guy. And the three of them get trapped in Punxsutawney when they go to see the groundhog or do a story about whether or not the groundhog sees its shadow. So I'm sure most of you have probably seen Groundhog Day. It was a very popular movie. But if you haven't, we're going to talk a little bit about it tonight. And a good friend of mine who is in the film, Rick Overton, will be with us at 6:35 tonight to talk a little bit about his experience on the film. Really wonderful cast. Stephen Tobolowsky plays Needle-Nosed Ned the Head. It was just top to bottom. Such a great film. And seriously, the best thing about February. What else would you say, Conrad? How else is February good?
You know what I don't get about February is why when I don't know who created the calendar. Well, they said, you know what?
Tommy Calendar.
They get a rotating every year. They get a certain amount of days,
Right.
And it could go back to the 28th, right? Is that the lowest
Right.
it goes? I hate it because I have to pay rent earlier. All right.
Ooh, that's an interesting angle.
But it's also my mom's birthday, so
Is she a leap year baby?
no.
Okay.
Hers is the 3rd, so she never has
Okay,
to
well,
worry
that's
about
good. That gives you another reason to at least tolerate the month.
Yes.
Because a loved one's birthday, especially your mom. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you're right, though. They even get an extra day once out of every 4 years. Oh, I'm February.
I have a
So
friend that's
stupid.
actually a leap year one, and I think he's like 12.
No, wait a minute. He can't be 12. Wait, so he's really like 48?
I don't know I was just
Just throwing it out there.
yeah.
He's not as old as he should be.
He's 20. He's 25.
Okay.
So I don't know what that translates into leap
So
year
he's like
years.
6 1/4. He's 6.25 years old.
Good for him.
Really immature. He'll outlive you, though. So tonight, Rick Overton is here from the movie Groundhog Day. We'll talk a little bit about Groundhog Day. One of our favorites, who isn't on the show often enough, in my opinion, Brittany Merlot, is going to join us at 7:05 to tell us what is going on with this weather. And it's always, I feel like we're like the original Odd Couple when Brittany's on, because I love warm weather. I hate cold winters. Brittany is the snow queen. She loves cold weather. She's an outdoor girl. She likes to get out and take advantage of the snow, which is great. You have to be like that if you live in a climate like this. Oh, you don't have to be, but it makes winter go by much faster, I think. I had a friend who told me, she taught my kids tennis, and she said, my family hates when winter is over. They were that much into winter. They snowmobiled, they ice fished. Why not? I mean, if you're going to choose to live where it's freezing, you might as well embrace it. And I think Brittany does that. So Brittany will be here at 7:05. Maybe she'll give us kind of some foreshadowing as to what we can expect for the rest of the winter. And then at 7:20, we've got a couple of film dudes coming into the studio. Chris Opper from the Door County Film Festival and Kurt Krause, an actor who is also working on the Door County Film Festival. Chris also has a film in the festival. Several of our friends who have been on the show in the past have films this year at the Door County Film Festival. So that's exciting. We'll talk some independent film and film festivals at 7:20 with Kurt and Chris. Another big thing happening. You know what? Let's get to. We should probably put our question out there, Conrad. Rocket.
Talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda. Question.
Question.
Questions.
What is your favorite day that you would want to be your Groundhog Day from your life? What day in your life would you choose to be your Groundhog Day that you had to live over and over, like Bill Murray did in the film Groundhog Day? There's a great scene in the film where he's recalling his life and about like things like when he lost his virginity or went on a road trip, and he's saying all these things. And he's like, those were pretty good days. Why couldn't I relive those? But no, he gets stuck in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania in a bed and breakfast. But you have carte blanche here, folks. What day from your life would you want to be your Groundhog Day? You can make it generic. You know, birth of a child, wedding, your own birthday. But if you want to get more specific, I welcome that as well. Tell us about a day that was very special to you and why you would want to live that over and over. I keep going back to when I was a child and I could just smell, like we would go to the park and I could smell the chlorine from the pool and the grass, and I didn't have a care in the world. I might just pick a summer day like that, a random summer day. Obviously, the birth of my kids, my wedding day was fun, various accolades in your professional life. But I don't know. It's a good question. And do you have one, Conrad?
February 6, 2011.
What happened?
The Packers won the Super Bowl.
Really?
So I relive it, and the Packers just never lose.
That is really short-sighted. I get that. And that's kind of like, you know, you felt the euphoria of your team winning. I've had moments like that. I mean, I'm a Bulls fan. I had 6. I still think back about that when it comes to sports. My team, I got to celebrate 6 championships with my basketball team. And I was heartbroken in the mid-'70s when they lost to the Golden State Warriors. So when they got Michael Jordan and came back, it's like, I feel like I can't ask for anything sports-wise in my life, because that was, 2 three-peats in professional sports. That's insane in the modern day. Cubs winning the World Series, though, as a Cub fan, I grew up just west of Wrigley Field. I could pick that. If I went sports, like Conrad is doing, but I think I would go for something more, maybe a day at our family cottage in Three Lakes with my grandma and grandpa, when my dad, who had 7 brothers and sisters, and they were all up there, and it was pandemonium and fun, and we were just catching Frisbees off the pier. That's my day. I will take a random summer day in Three Lakes, Wisconsin. That is my Groundhog Day. But what is yours? Let us know what you would pick. If you could pick a Groundhog Day, a day from your life that you could live over and over. 855-752-4842. 855-75-CIVIC. You can't argue with Conrad's either. That moment when you know your team wins, if you could bottle that, it's over. They've won. You know it. That's a huge relief.
Yeah.
And I do feel weird at those times, because when my team's like, I'm so happy, but I had nothing to do with it. That's weird. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just eating donuts on the couch, and they're actually accomplishing something, but it's still lovely. So whatever you want it to be, what is your Groundhog Day? What day would you pick from your life that you could live over and over? Text us on the app. That's easy too. Just we're on statewide, so click the little text icon and fire away, and we will read your text on the radio. We got a really fun show tonight, folks. We're talking about Groundhog Day with Rick Overton in just a few minutes. Brittany Merlot is here to tell us a little bit about why it's so warm out, even though I don't know if I want to question it, because I love it. And then some independent film talk with Chris Hopper and Kurt Krause at 7:20. That's a show, Conrad, right there. That's what that is.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the question out there. I was just, Green and Gold opens tomorrow.
Yes.
I just sent Anders an email, finally thanking him for being on the show a couple weeks ago. It was a fun interview, and he's a good guy. I'm really pulling for his film. We thought initially it was going to be released nationwide. I guess it's going to be, what they'll probably do is roll it out in Wisconsin, and if it crushes here, like I think it very well could, maybe they'll roll it out into other markets. But pretty good reviews for the most part on Rotten Tomatoes. So good luck to Anders, and break a leg tomorrow, my friend. That's exciting stuff. Check out Green and Gold if you're so inclined. Coming up next, we're going to talk about a very inappropriate Super Bowl commercial that reenacts a moment of, how should I say this? You know the word organism? Can I say something close to that on the air? We'll discuss.
Yeah.
All right. This is Pete Schwab at Nightlight. Great to have you with me on this, the Christmas Eve of weeknights, folks. It's Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From a 3-minute record, when we heard this school, turn out to hear the neighborhood drummer sound and feel my heart begin to pound. So you're tired, just wanna close your eyes, follow your dream down. And we made a promise, we swore we'd always
To the talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matt and Air on Air.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The Todd Alba Show.
The argument from my former party has been, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Well, no worries, folks. Governor Evers has got you covered. He introduced a plan to put millions of dollars into mental health, particularly for young kids. And the Republicans in the chamber did not clap. If you can't be it for kids, then what the heck can you be for? Jeepers, criminy.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Matt and Air on Air.
Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor.
No court in the country came closer to overturning the 2020 election results than the conservative majority on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And we have Brad Schimmel, who's been siding with January 6 rioters. So if you want your vote to count going forward, show up and vote on April 1st. Let's channel that energy into the Wisconsin Supreme Court race.
Matt and Air on Air. Weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
The first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Fear you may be missing out? We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. Enjoy listening live or catch up by finding the podcast at
Well, she pressed her chest against me about the time the jukebox broke. Yeah, she gave me a peck on the back of the neck. And these are the words she spoke. Blow up your TV, throw away your paper.
Oh, we got so much going on here tonight, folks. We're going to talk Groundhog Day in just a few minutes with actor, comedian Rick Overton. Very funny guy, extremely talented guy. Came up with Robin Williams in the San Francisco comedy scene, and he has been around a while. He's got stories to tell. Just a really good guy. So we'll talk about his time on the set of Groundhog Day, and he is going to make our popcorn pick of the week, too, by the way. It's Thursday, so Rick will give us a movie pick of his liking. And then Brittany Merlot will be here at 7:05, and Kurt Krause and Chris Hopper will be here at 7:20 to talk about the Door County Film Festival, which is just around the corner. And it's interesting because Green and Gold was shot in Door County. Antonio Polk, who was on this show about a month ago, shot 2 films there. Door County is incredibly cinematic. That doesn't surprise me, but it seems like they are getting more and more film activity happening there. So we'll talk to Chris and Kurt about that as well. So our question tonight, folks, is what is your Groundhog Day? Pick a day from your life. If you had to live a day over and over, what day from your life would it be? And you can get as elaborate as you want. It can be something basic like a birthday or a holiday when your child was born. But if you want to be more specific, that's fine too. I welcome it. So let us know at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. So I saw this today. This was kind of interesting. And it was on Up North News, which I think Pat Kreitlow is behind. Do you know anything about Up North News?
Yeah, Pat
It's
Kreitlow.
Pat, right?
Yep,
It's his public, and this Christina Laurie, who I've tried to get on the show. Or I haven't tried to get her on the show. I would love to reach out to her and try to get her on the show because she writes. She just has so many fun facts about Wisconsin, and I've reached out over the course of the last year to a couple people, but they've not been able to put me in touch with her, and she's not easy to reach. Conrad, take a memo. What do you think? You think you can get a hold of Christina?
I'll try my best.
Do it, man. We got to do this. She put out this thing today on Up North News I thought was just great, and it's about Super Bowl dip. The most popular game day dip in Wisconsin is, do you have any idea, Conrad?
Buffalo chicken.
That's a good guess because a lot of states, the majority of the states, like some type of buffalo dip.
French onion?
No.
Ooh,
I'll give you a hint.
Taco.
Yes. Where did you pull that out of?
I just was thinking about my favorite.
Okay.
My favorites.
and you're like Mr. Wisconsin, man. You're like the Luke Mathers of Northeast Wisconsin. That's why Luke's going to take our quiz tomorrow. I'm excited to give that to him. Michigan, it's cheese dip. Indiana, it's cheese dip, just to give you some surrounding area dip choices. Minnesota, it's more specific. It is a cheese dip, but it's cheddar cheese dip. Illinois is jalapeno popper dip. I like that. Iowa is green dip. No, I'm sorry, that's Missouri. What's green dip?
I have no. I'm going to look that up.
The salsa verde or something? It sounds healthy. So get out of here. I don't need a healthy dip for my Super Bowl pleasures. Iowa's buffalo chicken dip. Yeah, Wisconsin is taco dip. And I have to say, out of all of these, taco dip is probably my favorite. Maybe the jalapeno popper, but I like the taco dip. California is jalapeno popper dip. Washington State, Greek layer dip. Interesting. Nevada is beer dip. What's Texas? Queso dip. Okay, could see that. And then Ohio, buffalo chicken dip as well. And upstate New York, or just New York State, I guess, buffalo chicken. So I do like a good taco dip. But some of the recipes were like, man, talk about, I really just kind of need the meat and a sauce. Do you want the creams in there and the cheese? Like, I don't mind some Mexican cheese in there, but a lot of these recipes were like sour cream and cream cheese. It's like, I don't want to die by the end of the game. I just want to, I do like the taste of tacos, though, especially taco meat.
I think that the green dip, I'm looking it up here. I can't, this might be it. It's called the Greek goddess dip, but it's the green dip, and it's Greek yogurt, feta cheese, and then pita chips, and then olive oil.
Yeah, that's healthier.
Yeah. And some lemon juice, too.
It's what?
And lemon juice is mixed in there.
Oh, that's
as well.
nice. See, I don't mind being a little healthier, but on a day like Super Bowl Sunday, that's kind of an excuse, pardon me, where you don't have to be healthy. So eat some chips, right?
Got to get the Doritos to match to the Dorito ads.
Here's what I like. Red Dye 40 mixed with
there we
cream
go.
cheese and sour cream and some U.S. grade A non-inspected beef. That's what I want. So this Super Bowl commercial, one of the big ones they're going to do is a reboot from, hey, we have a clip from Groundhog Day, don't we?
Yes.
Let's do that before Rick gets here, and then we'll talk about the Super Bowl commercial. So this is our guest at 6:35, Rick Overton, who's going to make the popcorn pick of the week, and then we're going to talk to him a little bit about his time on the set of Groundhog Day as one of the local town drunks. Here is Rick with another comedian, Rick Document, and Bill Murray sitting in a bowling alley getting loaded.
I was in the Virgin Islands once. I met a girl. We ate lobster, drank pina coladas. At sunset, we made love like sea otters. That was a pretty good day. Why couldn't I get that day over and over?
You know, some guys would look at this glass and they would say, you know, that glass is half empty. Other guys would say, that glass is half full. I think you was a glass is half empty kind of guy, am I right?
What would you do if you were stuck in one place and every day was exactly the same and nothing that you did mattered?
Now that sums it up for me.
That's Rick Overton, our guest at 6:35. We couldn't find the clip where he pukes by the car. Bill Murray says, you want to puke in the car or out of the car? And he says, I think both. I feel like we played
Great
that
choice.
lesson.
Great choice.
Yeah. Going to the text line, we have Tom from New Berlin. When we were talking about being on the radio, and you can watch radio or you can watch. How do I phrase that? Watch TV on the radio?
Yes, there you go.
Tom said, you still have a face for radio like I do.
What a great compliment.
You know, that's not the kind of thing you say out loud, Tom. You go, oh, Pete, you should really be in TV, even though inside you're going, what an ugly. Well, thank you, Tom. I'm glad we're connected through our unattractivity. Thank you for the text, buddy, as always. Chris from Madison says, leap year occurs once every 4 years, except when it doesn't. It doesn't occur on the century mark. However, it does occur every millennium mark, which is why we had a leap year in the year 2000. Okay. I didn't know that. That makes sense. Mike from Cottage Grove says, I love Three Lakes. Spent many summers at my cousin's summer home on Planting Ground Lake. Missed that part of my life. I'm with you, Mike. That's a great Groundhog Day. Keep them coming, folks. We'll be right back with Rick Overton on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Without my pride, I reach out from the inside.
Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The state AG says he is not intimidated. Stuart J. Waddles has more about the new federal directives on immigration.
The state AG says he's not intimidated. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul has responded to a new Justice Department memo about deportation enforcement. He says he's not going to back down with a threat of federal prosecution for local officials that don't help enforce federal law. On WISN 12's Upfront program, Kaul said his department will focus on investigating serious crimes.
A recent study found winters on the Great Lakes are getting shorter as the result of climate change. According to the study published in Environmental Research Letters, the Great Lakes have lost an average of 14 days of winter conditions for every decade since 1995 due to rising air temperatures. The study also found that the region has seen the greatest increase in average winter temperatures over the last 50 years, and the Great Lakes are losing ice cover at a rate of about 5% each decade. Continued changes could affect the ecosystem of the lakes. The month of January ends with Winter Salt Awareness Week. Meteorologist Brittany Merlot has more on how to reduce how much we use.
To reduce the use of salt at home, shovel and clear walkways and other areas before the snow turns to ice. The more snow removed manually, the less salt you'll need, and the more effective it'll be. And scatter when using salt. You want space between the grains. A 12-ounce coffee mug of salt is enough to treat an entire 20-foot driveway or 10 sidewalk squares. Salt is much less effective when pavement temperatures drop below 15 degrees. So when this happens, switch to sand for traction or a different ice melter that works at lower temperatures.
I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The Night Agent is a show we've talked about periodically on Nightlight. The second season just dropped on Netflix, and lots of people seem to be finding it. The spy drama drew 14 million viewers in its first 5 days, and according to TheWrap.com, landed in the top 10 most viewed shows in 90 countries. The plot finds an FBI agent sitting in a room in the basement of the White House monitoring a phone that supposedly never rings, until it does, and a conspiracy unfolds. Great premise, and a pretty good show. If you like heist films, you might enjoy the film Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Gerard Butler is back playing Big Nick, an LA County Sheriff's detective, in the follow-up to the first Den of Thieves from 2018. O'Shea Jackson Jr. is also back as bad guy Donnie Wilson, trying to evade Big Nick, who tracks him across Europe. Jackson's character disappeared at the end of Den of Thieves 1, leaving the story ripe for sequel. The film could be 15 minutes shorter, but does deliver with some high-speed thrills and gunfights through beautiful settings in Europe. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the upper 20s, and more sun but not as warm tomorrow, high upper 30s. Breezy and cooler Saturday with some snow showers. A mixture of sunshine and clouds into Sunday, highs mid-40s. Currently 35 degrees.
Carmelo Anthony for the Bail Project.
Bad news, you've been arrested. Good news, you're innocent until proven guilty. If you can pay your bail, good news, you go home to wait your trial. If you can't, sorry, you go to jail to wait. But sure, you still presumed innocent. But since you can't afford bail, you've lost your freedom. That's not right. And that's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Todd Alba Show.
The argument from my former party has been, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Well, no worries, folks. Governor Evers has got you covered. He introduced a plan to put millions of dollars into mental health, particularly for young kids. And the Republicans in the chamber did not clap. If you can't be it for kids, then what the heck can you be for? Jeepers, criminy.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Todd Alba.
Hey, everybody, join us next time for a TGIF edition of the show.
It's time for the Nightlight Popcorn Pick of the Week, where we recommend a movie that you'll either enjoy or won't. Here's your host, Pete Schwaba.
All right. It is the Christmas Eve of weekdays, folks. It is Thursday night. Hope you had a great day. Glad you're with me here. We are broadcasting live statewide from beautiful downtown Green Bay, and it is time for our Popcorn Pick of the Week. You will walk away from the radio with a movie recommendation and some insights over the next few minutes of what it was like to work on the film Groundhog Day with our next guest, the hilarious and incredibly talented Rick Overton. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Pete. Thanks for having me back on. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. It is a thrill to have you back on, and thank you for doing this. I think I've told you maybe in the past that Groundhog Day is one of my favorite films of all time, so we'll get to that. But we make our popcorn pick of the week in this segment as well, and I'm thrilled to have you for that too, buddy. So, how you been? Do you have anything new coming out, or
Well, nothing new at the moment coming out, but after the strikes, things got a little slow.
Yeah,
but things always pick up again.
For sure.
There's no point in worrying.
All right, there you go. You got to keep your cool. So
keep it chill, and you're ready for work whenever it comes.
Exactly. And it will come. I think the hardest part when I used to do stand-up and acting and all that kind of stuff is those valleys can be so bleak. You know what? You just got to have the faith, though, and get through them, right?
Yeah. And all you artists out there have gone into the dip with everybody else. This is the one time you don't have permission to blame yourself. This wasn't because of you and your neurotic crap. You don't get to pull it on yourself this time. Because this time it was circumstantial, and the business has gone through many shifts. And certainly don't bring that bitterness with you. Just get ready to roll again.
There you go, Rick.
The business went through the depression; they got out of it.
Yeah. You've done stuff like you've kind of made your own work throughout your career as a stand-up. I know you've done shows. Is that something you would give advice to in regard to young actors or comedians, like make it happen for yourself? Doesn't that help you at least kind of use your own therapy to get through dry times like that?
Yeah, you got comedy. You can do other, I have comedy, and I do other writing, and so there's other stuff, voice work. And there's ways to stay at it that doesn't always have your face involved. And, the right place will pop up for this old man face of mine. Grandpa this or, judge that, whatever. It happens. I'm starting to land grandpa work.
Oh, wow. Does that conflict with your OnlyFans page, Rick? How does that two juxtapose each other?
Uh-oh. May I?
The cat's out of the bag.
May I?
Please.
May I? In my act, can I put that in?
Go for it.
Because that's funny, man.
I said that to my daughter. She said, "Dad, you need more of a social media presence." And I said, "What are you talking about? I got almost 200 followers on my OnlyFans page." And I'm not kidding, Rick. Her look went from "ha, that's funny" to "oh dear God" to "oh no." It ran the gamut of emotions.
Dad's not kidding.
No, exactly.
Dad means it.
Exactly.
Funny.
Hey,
That's
so
funny.
all right, so we got you here. We'd love to get your popcorn pick, but let's talk about this. Are you a big movie guy, Rick? Do you like to go to the theater to see movies? Do you like to watch them at home? What's your approach?
Well, I'll do both, but there is a time and a place, and I got a buddy, and me and him, we just have a routine.
Okay.
And we'll get out and see a movie and then complain about it the whole way back,
Right.
or whatever. But we didn't have a lot of complaints on the latest Gerard Butler film that you just were promoting here.
Right. Den of Thieves 2, yeah.
Den of Thieves 2, and I got to go see Den of Thieves 1. But what this film has is a kind of gritty Frankenheimer feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
Just showing not everyone is so special that they get to do a giant acting, so they're just doing their thing, and it's like almost docu-vision of them doing it.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
then it gets more interesting for the lead characters. But I thought the way it was handled, it reminded me of like a good 70s action film.
Yeah.
Or 80s. Didn't it have that earlier old school Frankenheimer feel to you?
Yeah, it did. And I was thinking like maybe William Friedkin, same type of deal though. Like
Bill
great.
Friedkin, yeah, man.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
chase scenes, great gunfights, and some good acting in between.
But down to earth and real and not trying to push anything.
Yeah. Did you say you did not see Den of Thieves 1?
I have to see it. I have not seen it yet.
I think I like this one better, to be honest with you. I thought it was a little more believable. But the first one's good too. I mean, I like a good heist movie. You have to really screw it up for me not to want to watch it.
Yes, I like heists too, ever since, like Top Cappy.
Yeah. Wait, ever since what?
With Peter Ustinov.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever saw that.
Did you ever see Top Cappy?
No, I never did. I'm writing it down.
Cool, man.
Okay. So what's your favorite movie snack, Rick? When you go to a theater, are you getting popcorn or what's your approach there, snack-wise?
Nah, I don't do popcorn. Me and my pal, we sneak in these cashews from Whole Foods. They got the Thai spices. It's spicy.
Nice.
And we kind of sneak it back and forth like kids in class, And we bring the drinks we like from outside. Don't tell anyone.
Your secret is safe with
I
me.
don't want to get some big giant ton of fizzy something or other, for $10.
Right.
Do you want the drum or just the tub? I'm just in the mood for the tub. Thanks.
It's so funny you said that. I went and saw Black Hawk Down at Man's Chinese on Hollywood. Do you know Rich Brown?
I know Rich Brown.
All right. So Rich and I are sitting there at this movie, Black Hawk Down, and about 10 minutes into the movie, I just hear a psst. He brought his own beer. He had it in his pockets.
Yeah.
So I assume that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you go to Rocky Horror, it gets a lot smokier in there. But,
Oh, there you go. That's funny. Yeah. I think
so. I thought the movie was pretty damn good, man.
Yeah. Okay. Is that your popcorn
And I
pick of
think
the
it's one
week?
of the better things. It's his most. Yeah, that's pick of the week.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Butler's most realistic work in a while too. They give him over the top.
Yes.
Through his teeth, 300 parts. Everything is through my teeth. But he himself is very grounded, and he does really good real work.
I agree. That's a great way to put it because I thought in the first one, and not that it wasn't good, but they were hammering home that I'm a cop and I'm a rogue cop, and it's like he was drinking whiskey and smoking in every scene. It's like, all right, we get it. You're kind of a
That's
loose.
too on the nose, And,
Yeah.
and did he have a troubled marriage at home?
Oh yeah, and it got ugly.
Guys, will you please stop with every cop has trouble at home? It's not that it doesn't happen. It's just that everyone uses it. Notice nobody shows Trinity flying in the air and freezing in place in a dance pose anymore while you pan the camera around because everyone has seen it to death.
Right. Well, wait till you see the first one.
Open the mirror in the cabinet, and when you close the mirror again and there's the guy, don't open the fridge door, and you close, there's the guy. Don't do the person under the bed. Oh, the thing was behind you, and you get dragged backwards into the dark. Why? After 25 times, just refuse to do the 26th time.
Right. And
It'll make you use improv and your imagination and give us something new, for crying out loud.
Absolutely. That's what the second one had. Like the second one, the marital stuff was gone out of the second one. It had already happened. Because the first one, it's like, God, if I could fast forward through these kind of disturbing scenes almost where he's yelling in front of his kids and stuff like that. It's like, I just don't, show me the chase. Show me him getting the bad guy. I know people have families, I don't need to see everything. What kind of movies do you typically like, Rick, genre-wise? Is that kind of your genre, the action?
Sometimes I'm nostalgic and I want to see something that reminds me of the old feel.
Okay.
So I saw that movie because it has the old feel, but it doesn't always mean I go see every action film. I'll go see comedy films and sci-fi films and documentaries, and it just depends on the subject matter more than the format.
Yeah, that makes sense. Before we get into Groundhog Day, Rick, I just want to ask you, what you've been on your share of TV and movie sets. Have you had an experience where it was just like, oh my God, I wish I could go back and do that again? Kind of a Groundhog Day shooting experience almost?
And reshoot and do my part better?
I didn't say that.
What do you mean?
Just like you had
a couple probably. I could look back on my early stuff and go, oh boy,
Yeah.
Boy, I sure mug. Oh, look at me mugging my face up, Look at that kid monkeying around on camera.
I'm just saying you have so many great credits,
Well, yeah, and I've had a lot of luck, and you can tell. Oh, yeah, that's luck. That's always. And then you learn your way around, and you try to do your best. You're with good people, and hopefully it rubs off.
Sure.
That's a lot of what you young guys, you want to be with the good people and just quietly see what they did and why, see what they didn't do and why. And then it'll be your turn one day, and you'll remember those things. And that's how you learn. Earn while you learn.
Absolutely. You had a great year in 1993. In addition to Groundhog Day, you did Mrs. Doubtfire. Those both must have been really fun films to shoot, big budget Hollywood films. Do you like those, or do you like more indie stuff where you can take more chances?
Well, each has its value as long as you have a wide perspective on why it's good to be here at all.
Okay. Oh, that's a good answer.
Don't be fussy about it just yet. Wait till you're a multi-billionaire, and then you can get all fussy about it. Until then, realize everyone just wants to get this thing done. Be there to help that happen.
Yeah.
And then when enough of them go, you help this get done, that leads to more work.
Well said. What about Groundhog Day? Let's talk about that. So tell us a little bit about your experience. I love that you got to do scenes with another comic, your fellow Rick.
Ricky.
Yeah, that must have been kind of fun.
Always fun playing with dear Ricky. He's gone now.
Yeah.
And he was really a multi-talented guy. He's been in some great films if you look at his IMDb, and he was so good in The Burbs. But he and I would come up with some stuff that slip sliding around on the ice by the car outside the bowling alley. Harold was a Second City man. So I said, what do you guys got? And he goes, oh, well, you know what? I'm here. Do something with my footing here. So I just can't. So it's just every moment of me at the wheel should be absolute jeopardy,
Oh, wow.
And I added the thing, maybe he has to throw up.
Oh, that was your ad lib.
Yeah, because his name was Ralph, and I thought, well, if his name is Ralph, for crying out loud, he should be at the edge of throwing up,
Perpetually, yeah.
And then Bill Murray gave me the line, you say anything about flapjacks. Was there too late for flapjacks? He says, who could go for flapjacks? And I said it. He gave me, the key line for the guy was, who could go for flapjacks right now,
Right. That's so great. You mentioned Rick being in The Burbs too, which I thought was hilarious. He is my favorite line, and I tend to have the quirkier lines are the lines I remember. And I think Corey Feldman said something in that film, and Document just looks at him and goes, "You think that's funny, Johnny?" It was so dry and just so beautiful. It was just perfect comic timing. So
he was great.
He was a treasure. So
he was always great. It was a loss.
Yeah. So was Bill
Harold?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Rick.
Oh, terrible loss losing Harold like that.
Yeah. Did you know him before you did Groundhog Day, Harold Ramis?
No,
okay.
But ever since then, and we would hang out and have meals when he was in town, and I just loved him. God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
He, so many people love that movie, Rick. I feel like it has the perfect amount of romance without being overly sentimental. It's got great comedy. It's situational comedy, acting, the scenery, cinematography, everything. But you were in it. We're going to do a very short break, and then I'd like to come back and ask you what your thoughts are on it. Like, when you watch it now, what are you thinking? So,
How about Groundhog Day?
yeah, so we'll have a couple more minutes with Rick when we come back after this very short break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Age-related macular degeneration, or dry AMD. You may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy, or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now, there's something you can do to
Slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hey, it's John Mino.
And Jim Schmidt from Mino and the Mayor.
Want to stay in the loop with all things Northeast Wisconsin? Sign up for the WGBW weekly newsletter.
Get the latest local stories, updates on the weather, and a special feature from our Mino and the Mayor podcast.
It's your one-stop shop for real news and great conversation in Northeast Wisconsin.
Log on to WGBW.FM today and get signed up.
Real news, great conversation. Sign up today at WGBW.FM/newsletter.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you tried online gaming. Who knew 12-year-old boys could be so mean? And where did they learn to swear like that? 2 hours of losing to these underage trash talkers, and you're starting to question if maybe you really should stick to pickleball and other boomer stuff. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer.
Hey, this is John Legend, and you're listening to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down on the night shift. I bet you're
Welcome
singing
back. Our question of the night is, what is your own personal Groundhog Day? Share with us a day from your life that if you had to live it over and over, you would want that to be the day. 855-752-4842. My guest, speaking of Groundhog Day, is one of the fine members of the cast of that great film, and he's a hilarious comedian. Rick Overton is on the phone here. Rick, so great to have you here. I know we just have a couple more minutes, but I know that you know, it's different when you're in a movie. You have a different experience. What's your take on Groundhog Day looking back at it? Like, when it's on, do you watch it? Or are you kind of like, I love it, but been there, done that?
I'll always watch it. When it's of course, in 2025, it doesn't have to be on to watch it.
True.
Everything's on.
Right.
You just click on it and it's on. You don't. It's like, remember, when you were a kid, you had to run home to see Laughing or whatever it was.
Right.
You know, don't want to miss an episode because it's gone. You got
Right.
one more chance in a year, and then you never see it again until Nick at Night. So it was. It's a luxury we have now to play it at any time. There's
definitely.
We live in an extraordinary time. Not all of the future is bad.
Right.
Some
Right.
of it is, but not all of it.
And we have great things to get us through it, like movies like Groundhog Day. Did you have any interaction with Chris Elliott or Andy McDowell?
A little bit in the van.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we get in the van, go to the hotel. And I'm not in the van with the news van. I mean, just picking us up to go to the set, you know, and we're all staying at the hotel.
Right.
And it wasn't shot in Punxsutawney because Punxsutawney wasn't really suitable for shooting.
Right.
So they were shooting in Illinois.
Woodstock, yeah.
Aurora and Woodstock, yeah.
Okay.
So it was all around that area there we shot. And the buds were starting to poke out of the trees because we're turning slowly into spring, and they had to clip all the buds off the tree and then flock it with fake snow. And it rebuds. The trees get trimmed, so obviously it doesn't. You know.
Right.
So it wasn't an ecological disaster, but it was. So we had to fake winter for the very end of it, yeah, and put a snow machine in there for the town square.
Yeah.
So lots of crap went down that we everyone believed in this like family at the end of the movie. And we didn't know what we were getting. It was such a weird idea. We didn't know, but no one knew for sure in the beginning if this was going to be amazing, but I think everybody by the end of the shoot absolutely knew it was going to be astonishing.
Yeah, it sure was.
And it's going to be a forever movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it must feel great.
Those aren't there, you know, that, but I'm very grateful that this is one of them.
Yeah.
But it's up there with Capra.
Oh, for sure. Listen,
Right?
I'm surprised. I mean, it's not underrated, but having said that, I'm surprised it's not talked about more. I mean, I know it's considered like one of the top 50 comedies and it won a BAFTA and all that kind of stuff, but I really think there are so few movies that are almost flawless, and I think this is one of them. I just like it that much.
Yeah, it's a perfect comedy. Galaxy Quest is a perfect comedy.
Oh, that's a great one, yeah. I think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Midnight Run. I mean, there's
Planes, Trains, Midnight Run is all forever perfect comedies. You got that absolutely right.
Absolutely. Rick, thank you very much for your insights into one of my favorite films. Thanks for doing me a solid and also giving us a popcorn pick of the week. Den of Thieves 2, folks. Rick Overton says it's good. I vouch for him. Check it out. Rick, thanks so much for your time, buddy.
If you loved French Connection and stuff like that.
That's a great comp. Yeah. Outstanding. Right? Thank you so much, as always, my friend. Have a great night, Rick.
Same to you, Pete. Thanks again, buddy. Talk soon.
You got it. All right. That's Rick Overton. What a career he's had. He came up, I think he came up with Robin Williams in the San Francisco scene. I don't know. I never met Robin Williams. I've only met Rick a handful of times, and I was just kind of a young buck, and he was sort of an all-star in the comedy scene, and he was always just such a friendly guy, and it's great to have the opportunity to talk to him on Nightlight about some of the things he's done in his really cool career. So, repeating our question of the night, folks. What is your Groundhog Day? What day from your life do you wish you could live over and over? Or if you had to live a day over and over, what would it be? You can go with something conventional, birthdays, weddings, whatever, or you could kind of get personal. You could tell us some more intimate stuff, not too intimate, but just a lovely day between you and a spouse or your kids or friends, good times. I said mine would be Three Lakes, Wisconsin when I was a kid, and my dad's whole family would be up there, and we'd just run off the pier all day, maybe go golfing. It was just such a magical time, and I think probably a lot of people would go back to their childhood. Conrad said he would go back to, how old were you when the Packers won?
I was 11.
Okay. 11 years old. Wow. So that is a childhood memory. Yeah.
Yep.
So share with us yours, please. It's always more fun when you guys are involved. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. So Monica from Mount Horeb says, I don't have a good answer for the question, so I'll offer two unrelated comments. I saw A Complete Unknown, and it far exceeded my expectations. Monica, I was expecting to like it, but it exceeded my expectations too. That's very well said. I like the way you explain that. Timothy Chalamet did a great job as Dylan, and Ed Norton's portrayal of Pete Seeger was spot on. I also ordered and read the whole They Dug for You after listening to Jody Hinman on your show, and I thought it was pretty good. She had a lot of unexpected plot twists. That is good to hear. See that, Conrad? We're providing a service here too.
There we go.
I'm still on another book from another guest, but I'm going to get to Jody soon. But I will pass that along. Thank you so much, Monica. That means a lot. Jim from Appleton says, my Groundhog Day is a simple pleasure. A random summer day at my grandparents' lake property. It was on Emma Lake near Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Jim, I was up in that direction too. Whenever someone flew into Three Lakes, they always went into Rhinelander Airport because Three Lakes had this tiny landing strip. So You can't beat those memories at the family cottage. Keep those memories coming, folks. Let us know what your Groundhog Let us know what your Groundhog Day would be. I'm having trouble talking here, Conrad. More water. What are you telling me? Wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
I will take my time, damn it. I don't care. Hey, this is Pete Schwab at Nightlight. Great to have you with. Brittany Merlot is coming up next, folks. We're going to talk weather. Don't go away. It's Nightlight with Pete Schwab on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From Denmark to De Pere, this is 97.9 WGBW. Lean Local with Jim Schmidt.
Join me and Mayor Eric Gingrich as we discuss all the things going on in Greater Green Bay.
Sunday afternoons at 1 on 97.9 WGBW and the Civic Media app. The Maggie Dawn Show.
Open that conversation with this person that you disagree with so much by trying to find the shared value, the thing that you both actually agree about. Challenge yourself to keep bringing it back to the value that we agree on and maybe even the outcome that we wish to see. Go have the tough conversation, because you know what gets better with practice? Those tough conversations.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us. This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Richard Cantu. He had no evidence, but that didn't stop President Trump from continuing to suggest that race or gender may have played a role in Wednesday night's jetliner Black Hawk helicopter crash at Washington, D.C.'s Reagan National Airport. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Army veteran who flew Black Hawks, taking exception.
When you're out there trying to recruit more people to get them trained to become air traffic controllers, having the President of the United States question them and insult them is not the way that we actually grow more air traffic controllers.
On the investigation, a source with direct knowledge tells ABC News the flight data and cockpit voice recorders from the jetliner have been recovered. Jennifer Homendy chairs the National Transportation Safety Board.
We will look at all the humans that were involved in this accident. Again, we will look at the aircraft, we will look at the helicopter, we will look at the environment in which they were operating in. That is standard in any part of our investigation.
This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Michael Friedman, CEO of Simple Life Hospitality. Let us take the hassle out of vacation rental property management. We'll maximize your earnings and handle every detail from cleaning to maintenance and repairs. For guests, enjoy a stay that feels like home with hand-selected properties, personal touches like local recommendations, and extras like concierge service that will make your trip unforgettable. Whether you're a homeowner or a traveler, experience the Simple Life. Visit simpleliferentals.com.
Nerds, it's time to come together. I'm Amanda Nimmer, bringing you your new Wisco 411, and this is your time to rise, because one of the largest Star Wars fan collections in the world is coming February 1st through April 27th, showcasing iconic characters, vehicles, memorable scenes from the franchise. There are 142 collected items, including a life-size land speeder. Get your tickets for the Multicultural Center's unofficial galaxies from February till the end of April.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Wisconsin's efforts to curb smoking just aren't cutting it, according to a new report from the American Lung Association. They grade each state based on their initiatives to prevent residents from smoking and to help them quit. Wisconsin got 2 Fs, 2 Ds, and a B. Tobacco is the number one cause of death in Wisconsin, more than alcohol, car crashes, illegal drugs, homicide, and suicide combined. More than 7,800 Wisconsinites die every year due to tobacco. Meanwhile, in a related story, data shows lung cancer rates declining in Wisconsin. The report from the Wisconsin Cancer Collaborative says declining smoking rates, effective tobacco control policies and regulations, earlier diagnosis, and improved treatments are responsible for the decline. In Wisconsin, lung cancer deaths still outnumbered all prostate, breast, and colon cancer deaths combined. The 5-year relative survival rate for lung cancer in Wisconsin is 29.4%. In Wisconsin, the majority of people with lung cancer are between the ages of 70 and 79. National report cards released when...
Wisconsin loses to Maryland. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Men's basketball, the Wisconsin Badgers had climbed to the number 17th team ranked in the nation after a recent 7-game winning streak, but they ran into a hot Maryland Terrapins team that has now won 4 in a row after beating the Badgers 76-68. Badgers head coach Greg Gard after another Big Ten loss on the road.
Yeah, I didn't think we started the second half real well. The stretch where it got away from us, we had 3 or 4 possessions in a row where we missed some pretty easy looks, so some of them point blank, some good looks from 3, and then they were able to answer. I think it was 57, 56 at one point, and then they hit back-to-back threes and got some separation.
The Badgers women's team snapped an 8-game losing streak with a win at home over Michigan, 82-75. Baseball, Wade Miley is no longer with the Brewers. The 38-year-old lefty has rejoined the Reds on a minor league deal worth $2.5 million and should be ready by May. Wade Miley recovering from Tommy John surgery. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news in depth. Find it in the news section at WGBW.FM.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the upper 20s, and more sun, but not as warm tomorrow, high upper 30s. Breezy and cooler Saturday with some snow showers. A mixture of sunshine and clouds into Sunday, highs mid-40s. It's 39 right now.
Mino and the Mayor.
He's negotiating with our paid sponsor here. No, that's
Sorry.
right.
That is true. Sorry. I forgot you were a paid sponsor.
Kristen Ambos, Point Mortgage Corporation. How are you, Kristen?
I am good. How are you guys doing?
Nice to see you.
I freaking love starting my mornings with you.
We love having you here. We really do.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday mornings 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS and the Civic Media app. The Todd Alba Show.
The argument from my former party has been, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Well, no worries, folks. Governor Evers has got you covered. He introduced a plan to put millions of dollars into mental health, particularly for young kids. And the Republicans in the chamber did not clap. If you can't be it for kids, then what the heck can you be for? Jeepers, criminy.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
What do you know about Black History Month? Stories past and present on the next New Wisco Weekend. I'm Lisa Hale.
I'm Terry Barr, also a Green Bay woman's unique.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a man barely 6 feet tall, but a mountain of muscle, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we kick off hour number 2 on Thursday night, the Christmas Eve of weeknights. Great to have you with me. It was great to talk to Rick Overton about Groundhog Day. Conrad, have you seen Groundhog Day?
Oh, many
times.
times.
Okay, I just realized
Yes.
we've been talking about it a little bit this week.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've ever came out and asked you that, so that's good. Okay. Coming up at 7:20, Chris Opper and Kurt Kraus will be in the studio talking about the Door County Film Festival, which is right around the corner. A charming little festival in a beautiful area of not only the state, but the country, Door County. And they're getting a lot more films being shot there, too, which is interesting. We'll talk about that. Right now, we're going to turn our attention to weather. And one of my good friends who works for us and does a great job here at Civic Media doing the weather. You can also hear her contributions, and they are fantastic, to New Wisco Weekend here every weekend. She's top-notch. Brittany Merlot joins us now on the stream. Hey, Brittany.
Oh, thank you so much, Pete. How are you doing tonight?
Doing very well. I'm better now because I know I reached out to you this afternoon. It was kind of last minute. I know how busy you are, so I really do appreciate you taking the time. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I mean, warm. Wow. Yeah. So I know you're happy. I'm kind of sad. I like the winter weather. So this is like the worst case scenario for me. But I understand that a lot of people love this right now. And I don't blame them because negative 45-degree wind chills, a week or two ago, and 100-degree temperature swing technically for feeling 50s and 60s today.
Where is it 50s and 60s today? It didn't. We're in Northeast Wisconsin. I think it got up like to maybe the high 40s, but did it get to 50s and 60s in other parts of the state?
You did. Actually, a lot of the Fox Valley was into the mid 50s for highs today. I think Door County was in the upper 40s. I mean, places, even Shawano hit 52 degrees. Shawano.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I gotta get out more.
You didn't even get out and enjoy this?
No, it's so awful, Brady. Listen, I said at the top of the show, you and I are like the original odd couple because you're the snow queen.
Yep.
And, I don't really like really cold weather, but I'm happy. I do have friends that are like you that they can't get enough snowmobiling and winter activity and they hate seeing winter go. So what have you been doing to enjoy this winter so far? And has it been difficult because of some of these warm patches?
It has been so difficult, to be honest with you. I hate this winter and I hated last year's because I didn't get to go skiing. I didn't get to do anything. And those are the things that I love. I know snowmobile trails did open far north towards Hurley and into Ironwood, Michigan, but I wanted it out of my back door. I don't want to travel to go do that. That's why I live here.
All right.
But I'm happy that Granite Peak makes snow. So at least we've got skiing downhill.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a good skier?
No. It has to be flat. Otherwise, I'm flailing down the hill, farming it.
I've done cross country even, and I'm an inside guy. But, so tell us about, should we be freaked out? Like we've got polar vortex one week, and then we've got 50s in January, as you said, in the Fox Valley. I mean, that is crazy. What do you make of that, if anything?
I think you should be freaked out because I'm freaked out. I know other meteorologists are freaked out. We're all kind of scratching our head, like, what is going on the past 2 winters? And trying to make sense of it, the first thing that I look at is, okay, is it El Nino, La Nina? All right, well, we're in a La Nina advisory. So we're slowly pushing into that. So we really have none of those to consider at this point because it's in a transition phase. So then the next thing I look at is this Arctic oscillation. That is the stuff that holds the polar vortex. If it's in a positive phase, that means it's in a tight-knit circle and, not too much is going on. But if it's in a negative phase, it gets wobbly and loose and sends historic snowstorms like the one that hit Florida, right?
Yeah.
So that's the last time it was in a negative phase. And now we're still well positive, and we're going to slowly shift to negative as we go into February. So I do think that winter is around the corner here for us.
You think cold weather is on the way? More snow
and winter temperatures. I wouldn't say the brutal cold that we went through. We'll probably get another one of those, to be honest. But the snow, the actual precipitation, we need it. The farmers need it. Outdoor rec needs it. Businesses do too.
Yeah, that makes you feel like someone like me. That makes you feel a little better about when we get it because we do need it, as you say. What about? Here's what I don't understand. I would say I have about an hour commute. Both ways. So I would say over the last 2 or maybe 3 weeks, snow has come out of nowhere. It's not on my Apple app. It's just all of a sudden, I told Conrad, I think it was Monday night, I'm in whiteout, and it lasted 20 minutes. But the roads around here are so horribly marked with reflectors and everything. I couldn't see where I was going. It was awful, and it wasn't predicted at all. What happened? What is that about?
Are you by the lake? Are you by the water?
Well, yeah, we're by Green Bay, sure.
Yeah, so my favorite phenomenon is happening. That's lake effect snow. So you get any sort of winds that are warmer than the actual water, and you're going to get those little bursts of some, whiteout conditions in a small area, and it's hard to keep up with those roads. And the crazy thing is I was just talking this morning, we were talking about the American Birkebeiner and Hayward and how they've had to cancel so many times for snow shortages. And now that we're on this trend, do they move closer to a lake so that they can get that lake effect? Because it's the only guaranteed thing with these warming temperatures that will snow, right? So
just tell them to follow me around and they'll have snow because that's what happens to me. I'm starting to think it's my fault. So you said that we'll have winter coming. Will we have more warm bursts like this in your opinion? And again, I don't expect you to predict the future, but what's the data telling you? Like, can we expect more warm days? Or are we looking at a pretty good charge of winter here?
I'm going to say no more 60s until spring at least. That was super unusual, super rare. I mean, we were 30 degrees above our average highs today.
Wow.
And we didn't just tap or break the records by a degree or two like we usually do. This one blew it out of the water by 5 to 10 degrees. The entire state, not just certain places, every place. So that is not going to happen again. But we will see more storms pulling in that warmth and then slamming us with the snow behind it. I think that's what February has in store for us. So southern parts of the state climbing to above freezing, seeing some rain and freezing rain mixing and then flipping to snow, which the classic for us up north would be more snow.
I love talking to people that know more than me. That is fantastic. That's so great. One more quick question. This is general. And again, Brittany, I'm fascinated by people that follow the weather because I think it's got to be so hard to do what you do. You're predicting the future, basically.
Thank you. You finally, most people are like, oh, you can be wrong and still keep your job. You know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's kind of sassy. But how far ahead typically can you look or get a sense of what's coming? Do you 6 months out, a month out, or even a week out? I mean, what do you feel comfortable kind of predicting from time to time?
For an accurate forecast that I'm going to put my name stamped on and stand by, I'm going to go with 4 days. But what I can see and what I lean on, I would say a good week is pretty accurate. But once you go past that, these model runs are all over the place. Like to dump heavy snow in the forecast models. And so it's not really accurate when it comes down to what actually is going to happen. So that's how you get blown forecasts if you forecast too much snow too early.
Okay.
But
that makes sense.
You can look, as a climatologist, you can look at these spaghetti models. It kind of looks like spaghetti flying all over the place in the globe. And that is these oscillations that I was talking about. So El Nino, La Nina, it's the Arctic oscillation holding that polar vortex north, or what is it doing? So we kind of study that and see the trends to try our best to forecast the future, which we don't know either.
So is there anyone in your field that like says, oh, it's going to be a really hot summer? Or, oh, it's going to be kind of a crummy summer. Does anybody know that this far ahead in terms of predictions? And not that it wouldn't change before we got there, but do you make those predictions or have those senses?
We'd probably be just going off the El Nino and La Nina, the general overall pattern. But you can never predict this random heat wave that comes through. These are all system by system.
Here's what I'd like to do moving forward with the original Odd Couple that we are. I would like you somehow, if you can, to get me footage of you storm chasing, and we will make you a humongous star. You will be the star of Twister 3. Let's see what we can do. I think that would be fun to show that if you have something like that.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Just think about it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I've already thought about it. Let's plan it. Let's pick a date.
All right, Conrad, take a memo. We're doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Brittany, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the show, short notice, and always great to get your insights. Much appreciated.
No problem. Love being on here. Thank you, Pete. You guys have a great night.
You're welcome. You too, Brittany. Thank you. Well, that doesn't, I mean, I guess I don't want to say I feel better, but are you excited about that?
Well, I guess we'll just see what Phil does, all right?
Punxsutawney Phil. Yeah, we got a couple days. Should be interesting. All right, so let's get back to the text line. Our question tonight, folks, is share with us, if you would, your Groundhog Day. What day would you, if you had to live a day over and over, what day from your life would it be? I picked kind of a random general day of hanging out at my grandma's cottage when I was a kid, running off the pier, eating hot dogs, resting, going back, doing it all over again in the North Woods of Wisconsin. Truly phenomenal memories. And I feel like if I had to get stuck for years, or however Bill Murray had to do that in Groundhog Day, that would be where I would want to go. We've had some great texts so far. Bridget from the 818 says, the day I could live over and over again was a family trip to Mackinac Island. The beautiful summer breeze, the delicious food, the magical bike ride around the perimeter of the island with the people I love the most in the world. I have been to Mackinac Island. I know exactly what Bridget is talking about. That's a great one too. In fact, I might put a Mackinac Island in my list as well. It's a very magical place. Absolutely beautiful. They've shot movies there. That's how pretty it is. Kind of like Door County. Steady Eddie checks in from the 608. Is it too early to read a Steady Eddie text? I don't think so. Okay. Steady Eddie says, Pete, Brittany Merlot, she's my favorite weather person. Somehow I feel good even if she predicts snow and cold. My Groundhog Day is when I was a kid, I would spend all day at the Sun Prairie Sweet Corn Festival. Oh, that sounds good. The cooked and buttered corn was free. I would eat 7 or 8 or more cobs of sweet buttered and salted cobs, extremely delicious sweet corn. There were carnival rides. My favorites were the Ferris wheel and the tilt-a-whirl. I experienced the thrill of carnival games in the warm sunshine. I watched people. I ate cotton candy and hamburgers with no concerns about my weight or cholesterol. That must have been nice. For me, the joy of the Corn Festival is right up there with Christmas Eve. And that's what today is, Steady Eddie. Thursday night, the Christmas Eve of the week. That's a great memory. Thank you for sharing that, Steady Eddie. Very, very well done. So you still have time to get into the fun, folks. What would you want to be your Groundhog Day? Pick a day from your past. If you had to live it over and over, what day would it be? 855-752-4842. When we come back, we'll have two really cool dudes who are doing their best to get the word out there about film by way of the Door County Film Festival. Kurt Krause and Chris Hopper. Join me next on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network. Home for Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. On Monday, January 20th, Donald Trump returned to office, sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Right out of the gate, he took a number of actions on his top issue, immigration. Perhaps the most troubling of these is one aiming to end birthright citizenship in America. An immigration attorney I talked to told me, "We're going to sit through a lot of BS over the course of the next weeks, months, and years, but this is the big one." My take? This action from the Trump administration is despicable, unconstitutional, and fundamentally anti-American. The day after the order was issued, Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul joined a coalition of 20 states challenging this action in court. This legal battle will be a tremendously important one for all of us to follow.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
"When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out."
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Mino and the Mayor.
We're very pleased to have Nathan Olson here, Olson Legal Group, also the sponsor of our Veteran Salute.
Welcome. And thanks. I want to start out with that whole thank you for your service, because we really mean that. And you hear that.
I appreciate that.
And it's really sincere. And some people say, well, it gets a little bit overused. What else are you going to say?
You know, I really don't know what to say when people say that too.
Right.
Because there is a selfless service aspect to it,
but you appreciate it.
Yeah, you very much.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday.
So we have some cold weather coming up. That's what I took away from our conversation with Brittany. I can live with that. She delivers the news nicely. I feel safe when Brittany tells me I'm going to be cold.
Just like Steady said, yeah.
Yeah, that's how good she is. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the 16th annual Door County Film Festival is right around the corner. It starts Friday, February 13th, and goes through the 15th. And here to talk more about it and filmmaking in general here in Northeast Wisconsin are the director of said festival, Chris Hopper, and filmmaker and also working on the film festival, Kurt Krause. Hey, guys.
Hi there. How's it going?
How are you doing? Good.
Great.
So, Chris, I think you were on the show last year, and we talked about the film festival, and you look different. What happened?
If I look different, it's because my hair's growing out. It's gotten grayer than.
I thought maybe Kurt gave you a makeover or something. You look good. Yeah, you look good, man.
Maybe
I just
the
didn't
beard's
recognize
growing
it.
out a little bit more. I don't know.
I like it. Very Beat Generation kind of cool, trendy. I love it. Good to have you back, Chris. And Kurt as well. Good to see you. You're no stranger to this show. So I had no idea you were working on the Door County Film Festival, but that's kind of fun. You got some free time for once?
Yeah, it's a blast. And I've attended the event over the years, and Chris had asked me just this past year to step on board and get involved, and so it's been fun. It's been awesome to help grow it, and so there's a few new things this year that I think folks are really going to like.
Oh, cool. Oh, we'll get into all that. That's fantastic. Chris, did you give Kurt a signing bonus? I'm just curious.
We don't want to talk about that, actually.
Then you'll have to pay
It's
everyone.
undisclosed.
Right? All right. So let's start with you, Chris. Give us an overview of this year's film festival, the 16th Annual Door County Film Festival. Pretty cool.
16th. Yeah. It's amazing to think about. So this year, and one of the reasons that we brought Kurt on was that we knew we were going to be expanding. First of all, we did drop the short from our it used to be the Door County Short Film Festival.
I thought so. Okay.
And we're now taking on the name of Film Festival because every year we keep getting feature films submitted, and we're showing more. And then this year we added Thursday night. So we knew that we needed another person like Kurt who can handle the crowd like I do. The other people that are involved are instrumental all the way through, but when it comes to the festival themselves, then they have always admitted this, they're like, we don't really know what to do here. So
yeah.
At the festival, it's all about, the mixing with the other filmmakers and talking to people. So it's very helpful to have Kurt here, who has a background in filmmaking and film festivals.
Crowd control, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, basically. Another me, really.
Right. So would you say your festival is kind of like do you guys have parties after all the films are done for the day? Do you model your film festival after anyone, or are you just kind of trial by fire and just moving it forward and doing your own thing?
A little bit of both. We always did kind of try to emulate what they were doing in Appleton with the Wildwood.
Okay.
That's kind of where I got my exposure to film festivals. Loved that one. Loved how they set it up. So that's a lot of what they do. And the other one that I go to every year and pick out ideas is Waiwiga.
Okay.
And so I always feel like our festival is kind of a mishmash of both of those festivals. I don't think I'm going to upset them to tell them that I'm stealing from them, but
no, everything's derivative, right? That's great. And what about you, Kurt? You've been to your share of film festivals. What is there something that sets the Door County Film Festival apart that you've noticed so far?
There's a real sense of community and belonging, I think, among the filmmakers, and really an excitement every year. And it's been said to me over and over again how much people really enjoy this festival. And we're now at the Northern Sky Gold Theater, so the venue is like a second to none, just gorgeous place. The staff there is amazing, and it's really versatile. We're going to be having a filmmaker mixer kicking off Friday before going into the film screenings, and it has a lobby that's great for hosting. And then, of course, you have the theater itself, which is just amazing and perfect for this festival.
Is there a theme to each year's festival, or do you just take the films that you like and try to sell them that way, or is there some type of undercurrent or thread, so to speak?
No, it's usually just every film gets judged on their own merit, and basically when we're putting it together, we're not really looking at, do we have enough documentaries? Do we have this or that? Or we don't go with the theme at all. And even like this year, it's on Valentine's Day. We're going to show a punk movie. So, I mean,
oh, nice.
What's more romantic than that?
Sid and Nancy, maybe, right? That's cool. So when we're going to do a short, we got to do the news in just about a minute here, but I want to ask you when we come back about some of your films. And I know here's what I want you guys to think about. I want to have a brief conversation about Door County and all the filming that's going on there. There's a lot going on there. And also we have about a minute before the break. I'd like to ask you, do you have an advantage holding a film festival in such a beautiful area where they choose to shoot movies because of the cinematic atmosphere?
It's looking that way. There are a lot of films coming here right now, and it's a beautiful place to shoot. So it's pretty easy to convince somebody to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris Opper is here, and Kurt Kraus. We'll talk more about the Door County Film Festival, the 16th annual, by the way. It's right around the corner. It starts Thursday, February 13th, and runs through Saturday, February 15th. And this can't be right. The film festival package for $60. That's not bad. We'll talk more about that after the news. Civic Media's news team is going to keep you informed. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Ready on, man.
Just another night, another vision of love. You feel joy, you feel pain, 'cause nothing will be the same. Just another night, it's so late. Understand the difference between lovers and fake. So baby, I talk to you in the night, in your dream. Love so true. I talk to you in the night, in your dream.
Yeah. But when I hear it now,
you're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW. Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I know there's a number of songs from 90s.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. What's the consequence for a kid that uses a fake weapon to scare students? And that leads to a citywide school lockdown. Well, a judge in southeast Wisconsin had to make that call. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
A 14-year-old
Kenosha
boy who admitted to bringing
negative
fake guns to an elementary school to scare kids has been sentenced to 1 year in a juvenile detention program. A judge this week ordered the teen to participate in the Racine Juvenile Detention Rise Up program, which aims to promote positive behavior change. The threat caused a lockdown at Roosevelt Elementary and schools across Kenosha last November.
The Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development is accepting applications for Wisconsin Fast Forward grants. According to a press release, the grant program is meant to increase the number of skilled workers in our state. Public agencies, private organizations, and tribal governments
these songs, as soon as they
can
come
apply
on,
for
I
the
turn
program
them. It's like,
and
to
could
this
be
day, I
eligible
have no
to receive
desire.
some funding to train
It's so-
more skilled workers themselves.
Flash forward to
Grant
modern
awards
times.
range from $5,000 to $400,000.
On this trip down
Grant
to,
applications must be submitted
Florida
by 3
and back,
p.m. March 11th.
you
Blood
could be
donations
driving,
are
you
needed
stop
to
at
help
truck
protect the
stops,
blood supply from the
and,
ongoing
for
impact
me,
of
it's
severe
like,
winter weather
when
and
you
the
gotta go, it's gonna be
wildfires in
20-minute
California.
commute.
Melissa
Well,
Kay
all
reports.
they were listening
The
to
American
it, like
Red
Love's
Cross
truck
is
stops
encouraging donors of all
were
blood
this
types,
90s
particularly
soft
type
rock
O
that
negative
I
blood
still
donors
to
and
this
those
day
giving
repel from
platelets
my
to help
childhood.
save lives
And
this
I couldn't
month.
do anything about it. I
Severe
was stuck
winter
on
weather
the pin,
causes
just having to
cancellations,
listen to
as
it. and
have
it's
the
like
California
one after the
wildfires,
next,
leaving
just
more than
awful. I
12,000
mean,
blood
these are
and
all
platelet
songs I'd be
donations
changing the
uncollected
channel.
in
Now I
January.
can't do anything
This
about it.
puts a significant strain on the national blood
See, that's the
supply.
thing that-
Book a time to give blood or platelets
in,
by
Michelle.
visiting
Right.
redcrossblood.org or by calling
You need me right now.
1-800-RED-CROSS. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW
Yeah,
News.
I do think you have a short film there.
On your entertainment beat,
I
I'm
think
Pete
you can
Schwaba. Most
easily
people
write it,
probably
easily
remember
shoot it.
MTV's Tom
And,
Green
you know, a
show
couple
in the
minutes long,
early
people would love it.
2000s. According to the New York Post, the host comedian, who also acted in the awful
Especially
Freddie
'cause-
Got
'cause you're
Fingered,
doing the
left
test
Hollywood
back
in
and forth.
2021
You could
and
do
now
like
lives on a
ridiculous
farm
things.
in Ontario, Canada. Green says it was the best thing he ever
ridiculous
did because he is
things.
not
Oh,
a
yeah,
Hollywood
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Green has a new documentary called This is the Tom Green
Yeah,
Story
yeah.
you can check out on Amazon Prime.
like,
Not sure
how's
if
my
Timothy
visual? I don't
Chalamet
know.
is getting a taste of the proceeds from resurgent Bob Dylan songs, but it sounds like he should because he's the one resurging. Chalamet plays Bob Dylan in the Oscar-nominated film A Complete Unknown and hosted Saturday Night Live last weekend, while also appearing as the show's
They must
musical
super
guest. The
inappropriate,
Oscar-nominated actor played the song Tomorrow is a
Don't
Long
warm
Time,
up your
one of his
Yeah.
personal favorites. The song did not even appear in the film, but is at number 63 on the iTunes Top
I'm not sure
100.
which Sesame
For more
Street
showbiz fun,
character
tune
that
into
was, but
Nightlight with
like-
me, Pete Schwaba,
Like
weeknights
God,
from
you
6 to 8
get
p.m.
that.
on the Civic Media Radio
That's
Network.
true. I didn't do any.
You can always continue the conversation on social
Maybe warm
media.
up before
Share
coming
your
in.
thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on
We used to for
Facebook,
10
X,
minutes,
and
15
Instagram.
minutes before doing
I'm
shows live.
meteorologist Mace Michaels.
stage,
Mostly
we-
clear
we-
tonight.
we-
Low in the upper 20s. And more sun, but not as warm
Central
tomorrow.
Chico
High upper
Dickin.
30s. Breezy and cooler Saturday with some snow showers. A mixture of sunshine and clouds into Sunday. Highs mid-40s. Currently it's 37.
If I'm talking too loud.
The Todd Alba Show.
The argument from my former party has been, it's not the guns, it's the well, no worries, folks. Governor Evers has got you covered. He introduced a plan to put millions of dollars into mental health, particularly for young kids. And the Republicans in the chamber did not clap. If you can't be it for kids, then what the heck can you be for? Jeepers Christ.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Maggie Dawn Show.
There are solutions to the rot in the Supreme Court, and it's a congressional binding code of ethics. There are solutions to the corruption. It's a constitutional amendment to declare that money isn't speech and corporations are people, and we can do this. These are things that Americans agree on no matter our party. We all know that presidents aren't kings.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. Dom Selvia.
Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Brian Hagedorn recuses from the Act 10 case. Also, Wisconsin GOP lawmakers seek to require public...
So Pamela in Wisconsin Rapids says, Groundhog Day. We celebrated my mom, Caroline's birthday. Yes, she was born on Groundhog Day. Oh, that's kind of cool. So that's the day Pamela would live over and over. What a great answer. That kind of worked out perfectly, Pamela. Thank you for the text. You can still get in on the fun. What is your personal Groundhog Day? If you had to have one, what day in your life would you pick to live over and over? That is tonight's question. Let us know, and we'll read it on the radio. Right now, we've got a couple of pretty cool dudes running a pretty cool film festival joining me now on the stream. Chris Opper and Kurt Kraus. The Door County Film Festival takes place February 13th through the 15th. We kind of talked about this a little bit before the break, but in addition to Door County's cinematic beauty that is naturally there, you got all that, the limestone as you get up more towards the vacation towns, and you've got the peninsula and all that stuff. Why are people just finding it now, or is Door County doing more to kind of woo filmmakers?
That is a good question. So we actually we were on a board of filmmakers talking about our craft and what we're doing at an event early this last spring, and I went into it thinking I wasn't actually gonna. I wasn't going to know the other filmmakers, and there's this board of people that like, oh, there's like filmmaker, like, and then now we're hearing about other productions that are coming into Door County, and to be honest, I don't actually have an answer why now all of a sudden.
That's interesting. I kind of just stereotyped and assumed because you guys were tied into Door County that you knew everything about Door County. But that's interesting that like there are probably films that are shot there that you don't know the other filmmakers or didn't even know they were there. That never even occurred to me just because it is kind of a condensed area. But either way, I think it's great because I could totally see why people would want to film movies there. It's so gorgeous. So Chris, you have a film in the movie too, or you have a film in the festival. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that one's called Are We Listening? And that's the event that I was talking about that we got. So Rebecca Carlton did an art mosaic kind of thing where she put some ceramic birds together, and it filled this warehouse. It was like I don't know, and each one of the birds represented the percentage of the languages that are in the world. There are 7,000 languages in the world. And so she was like, it kind of blew her mind. And she was like, so with all these languages, how do people communicate with each other? And that kind of worked into the question that she keeps asking: Are we listening? Are people listening to us? So she got all these people together. For us, it was filmmakers. There was another night of musicians and artists, and there were like 8 different groups that all got together. So, and I recorded all of the events. And so I put a movie together about that. And then, so we're going to show that on Friday night. And then that kind of is the talking piece that we get to talk about how Rebecca put this thing together. And now all of a sudden we're meeting together as filmmakers. And it's spawning into a whole bunch of things happening all at once. And it all kind of came from this event that Rebecca put together.
It's so great when something takes a life of its own on like that. Kurt, you're a pretty busy actor in addition to helping out with the Door County Film Festival. Are you in any of the films that are showing, or what else have you got going on if you're not in any of the films in Door County?
I think I make a short appearance in Chris's documentary because
Okay.
I was also there with that panel of filmmakers. And but otherwise, as far as I know,
aren't you in Jacob Lefevre's movie too?
Yeah. I make
a second.
I make like three seconds in a different one, but the quick side story on that one was we have a very talented filmmaker from Sturgeon Bay who is a recent graduate of UW Oshkosh, and he came to a different panel I was speaking on and introduced himself and invited me to come to set to meet all the college students who were working on his senior project. And it just happened that I was shooting a TV commercial like one city away from Oshkosh. So when we wrapped the commercial, I stopped by the bar they were shooting at, and I started just meeting the students working on it. And pretty soon it's supposed to be, a fun party scene at this bar. So pretty soon I'm just actually just drinking beer with these college students. And he asked me, he's like, do you want to be in the movie? And it's just for this kind of wide shot party scene. So anyway, that's what you're gonna
I'm assuming
see.
you didn't get a signing bonus for that then either. Probably.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Maybe about the same amount of screen time as in my film, though. So I hope you took a picture with that director too, because you got to make these keepsakes, right?
I think you got me typecasted for these bar flies and partiers because I. In the On Miracle, which was on Netflix for a number of years, that was my first speaking role in a film, and I was the guy at the bar whose friend gets punched out. And
that's hilarious.
And it all started though with Godfather of Green Bay.
That's what everybody around the state is saying. You know who'd be great in this bar scene? Get Kurt Krause on the blower. Well, it's good that it's nice that you're such a busy guy as an actor. So it's kind of cool that you can put your energies into this too, and that you have time to do that. I know I had Kate Stapleton on recently to talk about her film, The Inner Sea. I know you've got this movie Closure that's going to close, ironically, the film festival, or maybe not so ironically. What's that about?
That is actually about the closures of the 2-year campuses in the UW system.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very good film. Aggravating because of the subject matter, but
terrible.
Really well done, and it's going to give a lot of people a lot of stuff to talk about.
That's the whole point of the film. I love that. Part of my favorite thing about film festivals is just talking about the movies after, even with people you don't know. You bump into them, or you see someone that you saw at a previous screening, and you talk. Do you guys have a lot of Q&As and stuff like that?
Yeah. So after every session of films, so like Thursday night, we'll bring the filmmakers up on stage, talk about their films. Everybody gets a chance to talk about their own movie, and then question and answer from the audience.
Excellent.
Friday night we got the feature film. The directors will be there, and then all day Saturday is short films, and a lot of filmmakers will be there. After each session, we'll bring them up, and they'll get to talk. And
That's
then,
so cool.
And Ken Broski is going to be there as well, talking about Closure.
Cool. My guests are Chris Opper and Kurt Krause, who are putting together the Door County Film Festival. It sounds great. It's February 13th through the 15th, Thursday through Sunday. $15 per session. I like how you guys have that kind of itemized, so to speak, or 4 tickets, or you can get 1 free with a film festival package for $60. Where can people go to buy tickets if they're interested in coming by?
That is all done through northernskytheater.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're handling all the ticket sales.
Excellent. All right, so I've had some other Northeast Wisconsin guys who I love, Dan Davies and Craig Knitt and JB Thompson, who I call the guy behind the guy because he's introduced me to a lot of people.
We lost our audio.
Can you hear me?
We'll get it back though.
Oh,
I think you can hear us, but we can't hear you.
I can hear you guys. Yeah. All right. Well,
it'll be a minute or a second.
Right. We'll try to get these guys back on. But I was saying that.
All right. There we go.
Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. I was just saying there's.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
There's some other Northeast Wisconsin filmmakers who seem to stay very busy. Dan Davies, Craig Knitt, and JB Thompson. Did you guys lose me again? Okay.
We lost you again.
We can call you if it's easier. Let us know, and we'll just call you guys. I don't know. I hope you're not using the same.
They can't hear you when you say that.
I was just saying. I hope. I was kind of saying that to you. I hope they're not using that PA for the question and answer sessions at the movies. I'm making a call.
Our headphones, we can still hear on the.
No, we can't. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's hold.
Okay.
Why don't we mute them until they figure it out, Conrad, and we can talk.
Yeah.
All right, kind of let them know what's going on though. Conrad alerted me to. We're gonna do kind of a. Actually,
can we call
I have their website open, so I want to find this out anyway. I've had Dan Davies, Craig Knitt, and JB Thompson have been on the show. They make films here in Northeast Wisconsin as well. They have a film in the Door County Film Festival called Dearmageddon, the Musical, which I am very curious about. Oh, I'm sorry, The Rise of Dearmageddon, the Musical. And it's directed by JB Thompson and Dan Davies. JB Thompson, Conrad, you know JB, the guy behind the guy.
The guy behind the guy.
He sets us up with guests. He's introduced me to a lot of fun people. Can you guys, if you're listening, can you hear me now? Oh, he wants to call.
Yes,
You working that out?
I put the number so they can see it.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. So those guys are going to call in and we'll continue the interview. I want to ask him about this because I find this.
I might have it in mind.
I'm kind of intrigued by the rise of Dearmageddon.
It's probably the same number.
I know Dan has made a movie about Ed Gein. He seems to do some really different kind of cool things. So I'm anxious to talk to those guys about that. But the Door County Film Festival takes place February 13th through the 15th, Thursday through Saturday. It's $15 per session. And in a session, you get different films. It's not just one film, I believe, if I'm getting that right. And there's a package available for $60. It's at the Gold Theater on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Door County. That is I think that's also the Northern Sky Theater. But we'll get these guys on the phone. Conrad's lining it up. And we'll continue our talk about the Door County Film Festival. We did have Kate Stapleton on, who made a film called The Inner Sea about her pregnancy that she went through and had to give up the baby at the end of it. That looked like a really cool documentary. Closure sounds like a good documentary. There's another film, a filmmaker named Antonio Polk, who we had on this show.
All right.
He has a different one.
Well, that doesn't work either, does it?
On Saturday, February 15th. So Antonio was a great guest, and it was fun to have him and his wife here in the studio. And do we have those guys, Conrad?
They actually are joining over StreamYard with their phone. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, look at this! I've got 4 guests. Hey guys,
all right,
you guys back? All
We're
right. Back. Way to stick with it, man. That is some serious independent filmmaking skills.
Man,
guy, and making sure you get your day. I was in the process of asking you about JB Thompson and what's that?
Sorry.
Can you hear us? Okay.
Yep.
JB Thompson, Dan Davies, and Craig Knitt made the film The Rise of Dearmageddon. Tell me about The Rise of Dearmageddon. What can people expect if they go see that film? A musical.
It's a musical about
so
you go.
I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, within it you have a small town. You have a mayor who's making power moves, and this town is going under. Right and left, businesses are closing and whatnot. And the hero they all need to stand up and take back this town is a guy who's been so far removed from his days as a hero, hometown hero quarterback, and now he spends his days in the bar. He's drunk on the pool table when the movie starts, and so they're trying to get him back on his feet and be the man he's supposed to be, while the zombie deer are rising to power. So I think that's fair without getting too much away. Yeah,
that must have been interesting to shoot. I can't wait. That's a good one. I can't wait to see that too. You've got a movie about Sasquatches. Let's do a short break and we'll come back. We'll have a couple more minutes with Chris Hopper and Kurt Kraus, nice enough to join us here tonight on Nightlight and talk about their really cool film festival, the Door County Film Festival. We'll be right back. This is Pete Schwab and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Oh my God. Add this to the short.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
You going on a
Ever
bathroom
tried
break?
balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light,
Like
and
Mary
the Ad
Poppins
Council.
in her carpet bag.
Matt Nair on air.
Dan Schaefer, Civic Media's political editor.
No court in the country came closer to overturning the 2020 election results than the conservative majority on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And we have Brad Schimmel, who's been siding with January 6 rioters. So if you want your vote to count going forward, show up and vote on April 1st. Let's channel that energy into the Wisconsin Supreme Court race.
Matt Nair on air. Weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Todd Alba Show.
The argument from my former party has been, it's not the guns, it's mental health. Well, no worries, folks. Governor Evers has got you covered. He introduced a plan to put millions of dollars into mental health, particularly for young kids. And the Republicans in the chamber did not clap. If you can't be it for kids, then what the heck can you be for? Jeepers, criminy.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store.
Okay. No, that's not coming back in there.
Are you sure?
Back. We are about to close up shop here, spending a few more minutes with Kurt Kraus and Chris Hopper. They are joining us from. Are you guys in Door County right now?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Fish Creek.
Oh, I love it. I love Door County so much. It's like one of my favorite places in the world to go. We always look for the good deals in the spring and then the good deals in the summer, and they're much easier to find in the spring. Like you could get really good deals on hotels in February and March. There's nothing going on, but it's fun in the summer too if you don't mind paying a little extra.
Which is why you start a film festival in February, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you guys have to reach out to filmmakers and kind of chase these films down? It's your 16th year. I would assume you have some notoriety. Do people know about you and seek you out, or do you have to kind of chase down the filmmakers, or is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of both. We're on Film Freeway, and we get like 50 to 100 submissions every year. This year it was somewhere around like 60, I think.
Oh, nice.
But I also now we go to film fests, and when we see something we like, we go and find the filmmaker and be like, "Hey, can we show your movie?"
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we got probably about 4 this year came from going to film festivals, and the same thing with Green Blah. Went to the Green Blah premiere and went to them and we pretty much begged them, "Can we can we show your movie?"
Nice. Hopefully I'll see you guys this year at the UW Film Festival, at Wisconsin Film Festival in Madison. That's always a great time, and I'm down there for a few days. So if you guys are down there, you'll have to say hello.
I haven't made it to that one yet. I need to.
It's a really good festival. Great venues, and the guys that pick the films are just big-time film buffs. It's a really good, really solid festival. Really quickly, before we let you go, Antonio Polk was on the show, and so was Craig Knitt, and I got my movies mixed up. Craig had nothing to do with, or maybe not nothing, but isn't credited on your list with The Rise of Dearmageddon, which I can't stop smiling every time I say that title.
Craig acts in the movie, but
he does. Okay.
He wasn't. I don't think he was a part of the production team. He might have been, but.
But Antonio has a film, and Craig has a film too. They've both been on the show. What can we expect from their films? Are they comedies, or what are we looking at there?
Craig Knitz is a comedy. He plays the devil, which will put you in the right frame of mind there.
Sure.
And then Antonio's film is called Detained, and it's a very gripping suspense short film. Yeah, I believe they filmed that in Chicago, and when he had sent it in, it was like right off the bat, liked it. It has a twist in it that I think audiences are really going to like.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, listen, guys, thank you for your time tonight. Thanks so much for being part of the show, and best of luck with the film festival. There's so much fun. I love the energy of film festivals, and I applaud you guys for using Door County as your backdrop. You can't go wrong there. So congrats and break a leg.
Thank you. Thanks. And thanks for hanging with us with the technical difficulties.
It happens. Just don't use that same sound system for the Q&As. All right.
No, going in the trash.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
Chris Hopper and Kurt Krause. I would like to also thank Rick Overton, who was on the show, helping us talk about Groundhog Day, which he was in. That was a lot of fun. And Brittany Merlot, thank you for all your texts. Conrad, we need a little bit of a little more Groundhog Day, I think, before we shut this thing down tonight.
Yeah.
So this is a scene from earlier in the movie, but we can't seem to remember what we clipped. So I don't know how else to introduce it, except that people will probably know the clip.
I think it's when he's setting up, to introduce the groundhog to the cameras.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, let's hear it. Here's a little something from Groundhog Day, folks. It's right around the corner.
This is pitiful. 1,000 people freezing their butts off waiting to worship a rat. What a hype. Groundhog Day used to mean something in this town. They used to pull the hog out and they used to eat it. You're hypocrites, all of you. You got a problem with what I'm saying, Larry? Untie your tongue and you come out here and talk, huh? Am I upsetting you, Princess? You want a prediction about the weather. You're asking the wrong Phil. I'll give you a winter prediction. It's going to be cold, it's going to be gray, and it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
I'm just saying, if you haven't seen Groundhog Day, you got to check it out. And it's also going to be featured on this week's New Wisco Weekend episode with host Lisa Hale. That was my classic movie pick of the week. Those are always fun to make. Conrad, you got a feature this week?
I do. It's about a all-inclusive pro workout place in Green Bay called Grit 920.
What does that mean? All
inclusive, so all abilities. And they were featured on Mino and the Mayor a couple weeks ago, and I just put the pieces together to make a nice 3-minute story for it. So it'll be a great feature.
All right. I'm supposed to go to the gym tonight, but we'll see what happens. I tend to wimp out.
You go earlier in the day, you get it done, and then you don't think about it anymore after that.
It must be nice to have your whole life figured out so perfectly. You were telling me about Justin Tucker. What is the deal? He's pulling a Deshaun Watson.
Yes, 6 different cases that
from
came
massage
up.
parlors.
Yeah,
that we know of. Like, right? Like, they came forward or what? Like, what do these guys think is going to happen? You harass enough people,
or you offer them enough money to keep quiet, but then they're like, I can't deal with this on my mind anymore. So they say something. Then finally,
here's an idea: go home and be with your wife.
Justin
Tucker.
He has 2 kids, I believe, and he is. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's awful. And whatever. I don't know what the guy's deal is, but yeah, whatever. I just feel like I shouldn't even go there. It's terrible. It's like you can't even. Now I feel weird going into a massage parlor.
Yeah.
I don't go to massage parlors. We're doing this all again tomorrow night, folks. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thanks for your texts. We will be back tomorrow night with more Nightlight. On behalf of the lovable producer Conrad, I'm Pete Schwaba saying good night, Wisconsin.